Alright, hey everyone, it's Erin, and today we're gonna try something completely different than what I'm used to. So bear with me, this is an adjustment. I might be all over the place, but we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited about it. So back in May, somebody commented on my first Disney vlog from going with my family in January, and they said, can you please do a video on how to plan a trip to Disney World? So I asked for a couple more specifics because that's a really broad question and there's a lot of parts to planning a trip to Disney World and it takes a lot of time and effort. So they said they have a large family, then they all vary in age, and they would love to learn about how to meet princesses, how to pick a resort with good transportation, all the important things, how not to waste time in the parks. So I thought I would just put together a video about my tips and tricks to maximize the time that you have in the parks and picking a resort that's best for you and your family and things like that. So I hope everything in this video makes sense. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and if you have a tip or a trick or planning advice that I don't cover here, please comment down below. I hope this kind of serves as a way for people to learn the different ways to plan a vacation for their family. I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'm going to start with planning a vacation and how you go about it and things like that. The first thing that I thought of right off the bat was to make a My Disney Experience account. Get the app on your phone, it's in the Apple Store, and I'm sure you can get it for your Android also. You can make an account online and you can choose an avatar. My avatar is Elsa, of course, and it is pretty much the hub of all Disney information for your trip. It has your itinerary, it automatically loads when you book things, so if you book a dining reservation, if you book a hotel stay, if you have a FastPass, it all goes directly into My Disney Experience. So you can log on to your app on your phone, in a computer, wherever you are, in the parks, at your resort, and you can see exactly what your itinerary is for the next day or so you can plan accordingly. So, if you want to make time for a nap, at some point throughout the day, you can plan that way, and it tells you when the parades are and when the fireworks shows are and things like that. So it's really just the best resource, and it's so easy. It's free to download, so I absolutely recommend that. So next, before getting into the logistics of planning your vacation, there's some good things to know. So definitely know your family. Know the size of the group that you're going with, and knowing what's important to one another. Have those conversations, sit down, pull up a list of attractions, of shows, of rides, of fireworks displays, all that stuff, and say what's important to other members of your family, what's important to you, and just make sure that if anybody has a must-do, like, your son who's like the biggest Buzz Lightyear fan ever, who wants to do Space Ranger spin, but you have a teenage girl who's like absolutely not, just make sure that there's a way to do what everybody really, really wants to do. Know what season you want to go in. Summer can be really hot, really crowded, schools are out. Be careful of holidays, holiday weekends, they can be really crowded. If you don't mind crowds, power to you, have fun. There's, the different festivals and parties and events that Disney puts on every year. So there's the Flower and Garden Festival in the spring, the Food and Wine Festival in the fall. You saw our vlog from the very first Festival of the Arts in Epcot, which was amazing, and that was in January, and I think it's January to February, so I'm hoping they bring that back next year because that was so fun and so different. For Halloween, there's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and for Christmas, there's Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So these are extra ticket add-ons that you can get, but I've personally been to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and it was so much fun. Everybody dresses up. This is like the one time a year that you're actually allowed to dress up and go to the park if you're an adult. So that's pretty exciting. I'm hoping to get back down there soon and do that. Maybe do some research, check crowd calendars and things like that, so you know what to expect when you get down there. The next really important thing is to set a budget. Depending on the size of your family, things can add up very quickly when you go to Disney. So, you know, budget for a dining plan, budget for souvenirs, pictures, all that stuff. Try not to leave anything out. Flights can be expensive. Just make sure that your budget works for you, and there are totally ways to go to Disney on a budget. Me and my roommate just went in May. I've never gone to Disney without a dining plan, but in May I did, and you know, we ate pretty much quick service the whole time. We stayed at a moderate resort because there was a sale going on and there were no value resort rooms left, but it worked for us. Just make sure that you set a budget with your family that everybody's comfortable with, and you're able to meet everybody's needs and expectations, and I think you'll have an amazing time. Okay, so now for the logistical side. So I'm going to talk a little bit about FastPass Plus, dining reservations, memory maker, pin trading, resorts, park tickets, packing, and just, you know, a couple other random things here and there. So first, let's talk about dining reservations. So these can be made 180 days in advance before you leave for your trip. And the more popular places to eat are places like Be Our Guest, Cinderella's Royal Table, those kind of places. So those are the ones that you really want to take advantage of that 180 days out and make your reservation. Book it right then and there. And if you don't immediately get a reservation, don't worry. Keep trying. I mean, I got reservations that I wasn't expecting to get like 2 weeks before our vacation. So it happens. You can even try Facebook groups. Sometimes people are canceling their reservations and they're looking for somebody to take them, and you can find someone and switch off with them. You know, things happen. Magic happens. People are looking to help you. Don't give up if you don't get that really special reservation right away. Okay, here's a tip for park tickets. People are always looking for like discounted park tickets, and it's really, really rare. Like, they really never have sales on park tickets. But the more park days you buy, the cheaper the tickets get per day. My personal suggestion is, if you go for fewer days, like if you're going for a long weekend, I would add on a park hopper. When I went in May with my roommate, we didn't do that because we knew that we were only going to Magic Kingdom for 2 days to see Wishes and Happily Ever After, and then we had an extra day for Epcot. So we knew that we were only going to 3 parks, so we didn't get the park hopper. But if you only have 3 or 4 days and you really want to see all the parks, I would definitely invest in a park hopper. I think it's an extra $100 a person or something like that, but it is definitely worth it if you think that you'll be able to hop between parks and you'll have that time. But when I went in January with my family, we bought 7 days worth of park tickets and a park hopper. And we were able to go between parks and see shows in the morning and see fireworks at night and do that kind of thing and flip-flop that way. So that was also cool, having that flexibility. So there's so many different ways to do it, but just my advice is to get a park hopper if you're going for a shorter amount of time, just so you can see more while you're there. Okay, resorts. So this is kind of going back to the original question that somebody asked me about knowing what resorts are best for your family in regards to like transportation and what's close in proximity to which parks or which attractions. So, you know, there's the Animal Kingdom resort area, the Epcot resort area, Disney Springs resort area, and did I say Animal Kingdom? Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, Disney Springs, Hollywood Studios. There are hotels in closer proximity to some parks. So if you know that your family is going to spend 5 of the 7 days at Magic Kingdom, you might want to invest in a deluxe resort like Polynesian or Contemporary that has monorail or boat transportation to Magic Kingdom directly. If that's not so important to you, that's totally fine. There's bus transportation at every resort to every park and Disney Springs, so you definitely don't need to go the extra mile and get, you know, the deluxe resort with boat transportation. I know that doesn't work for everybody. Everything is pretty close. I mean, I think the longest bus ride I've been on is about 20 minutes to a park, which isn't bad. And also for resorts, there are 4 basic tiers. So there's value resorts, which includes things like the All-Star Resort, so movies, music, and sports. And then there's the Pop Century, and then there's the new Arts of Animation. So those are the value resorts. And then you have the moderate resorts, which is where me and my roommate stayed, and those include, like, I don't think I'm going to be able to remember them all, but the Caribbean Beach Resort, Coronado Springs, where we stayed. That's all I can remember right now. So sorry. And then there's deluxe resorts, so there's the Polynesian, the Contemporary, there's so many deluxe resorts. Grand Floridian, Classic, Deluxe Resort. And then they have deluxe villas. So these are like 3-bedroom, almost like apartments in a lot of the deluxe hotels. There's the Boardwalk, there's Polynesian villas now out on the water, which are just gorgeous. Contemporary villas in Bay Lake Tower, which is amazing. We stayed there a few years ago and it was spectacular. We just watched Wishes from our room every night. We could like pipe in the music. It was insane. Animal Kingdom Lodge also has villas. Okay, so now jumping to the Memory Maker. This is like a PhotoPass package. When you go into a park, you'll see PhotoPass photographers standing down Main Street, standing in front of the Epcot ball, all of these places, and they'll be waiting to take your picture. It's free for them to take your picture, so you can get as many pictures as you want. So they'll either tap your magic band with their electronic thingy, or they'll give you a PhotoPass card. Those are ways for you to log into your My Disney Experience app, and you can see what PhotoPass pictures have been taken of you and your family, which is pretty cool. And then you can either choose to order them, you know, one by one after your vacation or while you're still there, or you can purchase the Memory Maker package before you leave for your trip. So if you want to use it within 3 days of when you purchase it, it's $169, I think. But if you don't, if you purchase it more than 3 days before you want to start using it, it's $149. I've gotten the Memory Maker package the past, I think, 3 or 4 times I've gone, and it was worth it every time. I'll include some of my favorite Memory Maker pictures around somewhere. They capture pictures from rides with characters of your family throughout the parks. There's a section of the My Disney Experience app that you can go, and it will tell you where PhotoPass photographers are throughout the park. So you can find all of them, honestly, if you want to, and get your picture all throughout the park. So that's pretty cool. I definitely think it's worth it. I mean, I've gotten it the time we went for 8 days with my family in January. I've gotten it when I went for a weekend with my roommate, and I thought it was worth it both times. It's totally optional, but I just love having the pictures as memories, especially like all the ride pictures I think are hysterical, so that's definitely pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is probably one of my favorite aspects of a Disney vacation, and it is pin trading. I am a huge pin trader. If you know me, you know that. You know I'm crazy about it. I have like bins and boards all over the place, in my apartment, at school, at home. They're everywhere, honestly. Going to the parks, I love being able to take pins with me and trade with cast members and trade on pin boards and trade with other guests. At Epcot's a really popular place in Disney World. There's many different ways to do this. So for people who are looking to start pin trading or are looking for their kids to start pin trading, the best place I think to go is to the parks and purchase pins straight from the parks, which you know are 100% authentic and real. Or if you're looking for potentially a more budget-friendly option, you can go on Facebook groups and buy from reputable pin traders and sellers. There are so many of them on Facebook. It's amazing. And they will sell you lots, which are basically bunches or bulk packages of pins. And usually they're just the basics, either hidden Mickeys or things like that, and they're authentic. Definitely make sure they're reputable. Make sure that they're not fake if you can. So what you don't want to do when looking for pins before you go on your trip is to go to eBay. Steer clear of eBay lots of pins. Usually they're fake. The parks are flooded with fake pins and it's so frustrating. So if you're looking to purchase a lot of pins before your trip for your family, definitely try Facebook or wait until you get to the parks and buy pins there. I know it's a little bit more pricey, but When you buy pins for 50 cents each on eBay, they're not real, and it's just frustrating. So there's different ways that you can bring your pins to the park and trade with people. I have two examples here. The first is a lanyard, which is pretty standard. This one, I think somebody traded me or sold me, so it's just a lanyard, goes around your neck. The thing with these, I feel like the pins get really heavy, and I take them off like halfway throughout the day. But it tells you on the back here, Disney pin trading, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. So meet a Disney cast member wearing a pin trading lanyard or accessory. So they have pouches sometimes, they're hard to see, or they'll wear a lanyard. Find a Disney pin with your favorite Disney character, attraction, movie, or design, and trade your Disney pin with the cast member. So cast members are actually required to trade with you up to 2 times, so they can't say no. So don't be afraid to go up to them and be like, you know, maybe they don't want to trade this pin. They have to. It's their job. Don't be afraid to ask them. So I also, this is what I carry around to the parks with me. So this is a pin bag, which is like the next level. And this one I got, I think it was 2009. This was like my first hardcore pin trading piece of equipment. It's got the 10 years of pin trading on it. It's got Mickey Mouse holding a bunch of little pins in his hands. So this one is like, there's pages of pins rather than a lanyard. And they have this little pouch in the back where you can put like, you know, Mickey backs or pins you want to keep. I just think this is easier to carry. You know that the pins aren't going to fall off because it's zippers. And it goes over your shoulder. So usually I bring like a crossbody bag with me when I go to the parks. This just kind of goes right on, or if you have a backpack, it slips right in your backpack. And I know that the pins aren't gonna get scratched or anything. It's just the easiest to do, so that's my suggestion. They are kind of pricey though, so for these, I would definitely check eBay. They have some pretty good deals for those, but not pins. Pin lots, go to Facebook or the parks. But these are usually pretty good on eBay. The last real tip I have for planning your vacation is for packing. So what to pack, how to pack, when to pack, that kind of thing. I usually start packing like the week before. If you ask my mom, she starts packing like 3 months before. Like we have a pile on our couch that's like designated to Disney, and there's like sunblock on there and like Tums like 3 months out. So that is a personal preference. That is totally up to you when you start packing. My stepdad started packing, I think, 2 hours before we boarded the flight. Again, up to you. Just some things that I would suggest to pack. Sunblock. Big one. I forgot sunblock when we went in May, and I had to buy it from the parks, and it was like a ridiculous amount of money for this little tube. It's just so much more convenient when you bring it yourself. Be careful with aerosol on planes, like those spray ones. So you might want to bring like a lotion. It also works better personally for me. Otherwise I get burned to a crisp with the spray. But I would definitely bring sunblock with you. Another thing, earplugs. Like you're in a resort. They're Disney, they're nice, but it's still a resort. You have people walking outside your room at night. If you're sleeping with your family and they snore, you might want to bring earplugs. Also batteries for your camera. Make sure you bring extra batteries for your camera. You can usually buy like AA's at Disney somewhere, but like I have my GoPro is what I film on to vlog and things like that, so I invested in another backup battery so I can have 2 to switch off so it didn't die in the middle of the day, which it would have if I didn't buy another battery. So just make sure you're set with camera batteries. And then the last thing, which kind of goes with packing, but kind of is like more travel day-esque, is to pack snacks for the flight and when you get there. In May, me and my roommate had a late night flight and we got to our resort at like midnight and nothing was open. We were starving and the one vending machine in our building didn't work. We had the pretzels from the flight for dinner. Bring snacks. Even if it's chips or crackers or pretzels or something, just make sure that you have snacks for when you arrive, for the bus ride to the resort, for the plane, you know, especially if you have kids and especially if you are taking a late night flight when you get there and nothing's open. And then the last 2 tips I have are super quick. One is to look up what's called Disney Secrets. So there's lists online for each park and each part of Disney World of these so-called secrets. Basically, there's little, almost hidden facts-ish about attractions and places and things around Disney World. If you take tours, they'll tell you a lot of these secrets, but you can find a lot of them out on your own. So it's something like, you know, if you sit next to a statue, it'll start talking to you, or you could pick up a phone on Main Street and it'll say something, or you can overhear a conversation of, you know, a barber shop from the 50s or something crazy like that. But there's so many secrets. Definitely look those up. It makes the trip so much more interesting when you realize something, or you recognize something, or you hear something that you read about. It's really, really cool. And the last one is to make a playlist. Get excited. I think my Disney playlist on my iPod has like 300 songs, and half of them are like attraction music. So make a playlist, put it on while you're packing, get excited. It makes it so much more enjoyable, believe me. Okay, now we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk more about tips for the parks rather than tips for planning. And if there's anything that I missed that you want me to talk about, or any questions that you have about planning, please feel free to put them in the comments and I'll answer them if I can. So this is probably going to be all over the place because I don't really know how to organize tips for the parks. So they're just kind of bullet points and what I think makes the day a little bit easier, the trip a little bit easier. When you stay at a Disney resort, there's something included called extra magic hours. So these are a couple hours either before the park opens or late at night that are just for Disney resort guests. Regular people that are staying off property cannot get into the park. So there's shorter lines. I would definitely suggest trying to weave those into your park days. They release which parks have magic hours a while before it's on like a calendar. So if you can, I would try to plan around magic hours. So we always try to look and see, you know, Magic Kingdom's having magic hours on Monday and Epcot's having magic hours on Tuesday. So we try to plan our park days kind of around that and getting those extra hours in. They always make a difference. Try to plan accordingly so that you don't have to cross the park 4 times in one day. You know, try to plan so that you're not running back and forth between lands in Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, which is just massively huge with all of those little trails. It's just so not worth it. So look at a map, try to plan your FastPasses accordingly. It makes a difference. You know, you don't feel as exhausted and drained. You get to do so much more, you get to see so much more. In Epcot, I know Future World, which has the land and Nemo and Friends and Spaceship Earth and that kind of thing, opens before the World Showcase. I always plan to kind of hit Future World first head on and get everything I can done in the morning and in the early afternoon, and then I head to World Showcase for the later afternoon and the evening, and then we watch Illuminations, which is the fireworks show from over there. That's usually how I plan my Epcot days. Sometimes I go back and forth if I have like a fast pass that I couldn't get for the morning in Future World, then we have to go back, or we want to get lunch in Future World or something like that, or Starbucks halfway through the day, which usually ends up happening. Then we go back to Future World. But if you want to make the most of your time, try to hit Future World in the morning, then hit World Showcase in the afternoon, and if you want to stay for Illuminations, that's great, you can. Fast Pass for Illuminations is amazing. The viewing area for that is incredible. For Fast Pass Plus, you get 3 choices of attractions. So I always try to make them for close together in the morning, because if you use all 3 attractions, you get to pick another one. And if you use that, you can pick another one for later in the day. So I always try to make them in the morning so I can keep choosing more Fast Passes throughout the day, because if you spread them all out, you probably won't get a chance to pick another one. But if you use them all in the morning, you might get a chance to make more Fast Passes throughout the day. Don't be afraid to take a nap or sleep in. When I went with my roommate in May, we planned to get up, I think, at some ridiculous time, like 6 o'clock in the morning, and go to Magic Kingdom, like, before it opened. We both, like, didn't even say to each other, but we just kept hitting our snooze for, like, 4 hours, and we slept in. Don't be afraid to do that. If your body is telling you that you need sleep, by all means sleep. That's what's important. Magic Kingdom's gonna be there when you wake up. It's not going anywhere. Definitely sleep, or else you won't be able to enjoy the day. You won't make it to see the fireworks. please sleep or please nap. Don't be that grumpy person. Nobody likes a grump in Disney World. Believe me. Please stay hydrated. Disney is huge on safety and hydration. They give free water at quick service food and beverage places. You know, go right up past the food line and say, can I just have a cup of water? They'll give you a cup of water, as many as you want for your family, because, you know, they don't want you passing out. It's no fun when you're like dizzy and nauseous because you've been out in the Florida heat for like 7 hours and you haven't had anything to drink. So stay hydrated. Bring Band-Aids. Even if it's just a couple, even if you think you have the most comfortable shoes in the world, after 8 hours of walking, someone in your family will have a blister. So definitely bring Band-Aids. Bring hair ties, you know, if you go and your hair looks beautiful in the morning and you're like, wow, I'm gonna get those amazing pictures, guarantee you by dinner time, even by lunch if it rains some days, your hair is gonna be out to here and you're gonna be like, I give up, I surrender, I'm done, and it's gonna go in a ponytail. That's usually how it goes. So bring hair ties, and one's gonna snap, so bring two. That's how it works. Now, I said this one actually in one of my vlogs in Magic Kingdom, but I'm gonna mention it here because it changed my life. Get a portable phone charger. I got mine from Amazon. I'm gonna link it in the description below. It was amazing. It says it has like 4 charges for an iPhone in it, but honestly I think it's more than that. It is so wonderful. I bring it everywhere with me now. I don't go anywhere without it, and it made such a difference in Disney. I wasn't stressed about trying to preserve my phone battery. I could FaceTime my mom and show her the castle and post pictures on Instagram and Snapchat and use my Disney experience without worrying about my phone dying. So that was awesome. Going off of that, be in the moment. You know, don't be on your phone all day. Don't be sitting like this, you know, trying to post everything on Snapchat and recording everything that you're seeing. Really take it in, look around you, spend time with your family and friends and the people that you love, and just enjoy it. You're paying for it. Don't just sit behind your phone and try to plan every minute. Really enjoy it, really take it in, go with the flow. It's really wonderful when you do that and you experience it that way. Don't let the rain scare you away. If there's rain in the forecast, you go to that park. If it's already raining, you get on that bus. The rain will scare some people away, and that means that there will be no lines, and you get to play in the puddles on Main Street. I mean, does it get any better than that? I don't think so. And the last tip I have is simply to ask a cast member if you have any questions. That's why they're there. They're there to help you. They love Disney. They love their job. They love helping guests. They will help you with any question or any problem that you have. So don't be afraid to ask. And that's it. That's all I have. If you can think of any more, like I said, put them in the comments below to help others. If you have any other requests or suggestions for videos that you would like to see, let me know. I would love to hear them. This was a fun one because you don't really realize the grooves that you get into once you go a couple of times, but you're like, oh, I didn't think of that the first time I went to Disney. So hopefully some of these will help you when you start planning your trip with your family or you're going to the parks. I hope you have a great time, and thank you so much for watching. See you soon.